Welcome to this video. This is a 25-10 game playing Mort Seco. And this guy is really high rating here. In the 25, that's really high. You see in the best list? Yeah, he is the highest rated in that list. Oh, that's cool. Okay. 2-1-14, that's really high. So, what about the other ratings? He only has played standard. He has played 25-10 like crazy. Okay, so we're going to go for an Italian game here. I also can play knight f6, but this is a bit of a tricky line with knight g5, where black gives up the pawn, and I don't feel super comfortable with that. The Italian game, the pure Italian here with bishop c5 is really a bit more solid, let's say. Very quick d3. Yeah, sometimes white players go for a quick d3 here, and then like castles rook e1 very quickly. Okay, he's not doing this, but very quickly putting pressure against e5 indirectly, so that black has problems in going d5 himself. Of course, what he's doing is entirely normal. It's taking its time there. Sorry, my voice is a bit under strain. So, bishop on a7, that's a good little improvement move, going out of any possible d4 or b4 pushes. Okay, bishop e3. Yeah, I think I'm going to castle now. I mean, I don't want to take on e3 and give him the open f file or half open f file. I usually let people take on a7 and then just return with the rook later if they do. Okay. It looks a bit funny, but well, he has played like bishop e3 and then takes on a7, which is not really that brilliant in terms of tempi. So it's not a big problem that my rook is on a7. Let's go d6. I did not play h6 here. He went bishop e3 very early on, so I didn't really had to worry about a possible bishop g5 pin. Okay, I wonder if bishop e6 is a move here or not. In general, I want to play bishop e6 and go for that trade, but maybe I can prepare it with queen e7. Bishop e6, sometimes those captures are quite tricky with d4 coming quickly, and you don't know then how to continue in the center with black. This is very this is a very simple way to play here, but I guess quite okay. So interesting play with d4 here. I didn't expect that. If I take what I have to be aware of is that rook on a7 can sometimes be attacked. For example, bishop c4, knight c4, ed4, knight d4, knight d4, queen d4, my rook is attacked. So those details can prove to be very important. So maybe I should take on d4 here. E takes, c takes. Yeah, unfortunately I cannot go d5. Takes, bishop c4, knight e4, I don't believe it. He's got d5 and queen d4. Yeah, it's not working at all. So yeah, he's threatening this this fork. I wonder if bishop g4 is in fact a move, putting some pressure on d4. Yeah, let's do that. Not entirely sure what to do here. Bishop takes c4 certainly was possible, but hard to say what's better. Okay, it's a simple way to play. I wonder if I go back, if he just goes for g4. Maybe he does. But that at least leads to some imbalances, some interesting play. g4 definitely would be an idea for white if the center wasn't wasn't fluid, like, let's say. Here he always has to consider something, captures on d4, d5, or if he goes d5 I play c6, there's something going on in the center. If we would have the same position with the pawn on d3, then g4 really looks a lot more attractive. Not saying that he cannot play it, he might be able to, but okay, he's closing down the whole position. Interesting. So the question is, do I want to take on f3 now or not? Yeah, I think I will do that. Now that the pressure on the center is gone after d5, my bishop is probably not so useful anymore. So I'm going to take it. And I've got less space, so trades are okay. And the bishops are not that great anyway here. The question is that knight, where to go with it. Even knight d8 does have some point. Knight d8, knight e8, g6. Kind of the way I play in my Rui, but I'm not sure about it. I can also go knight b8, knight bd7, g6, knight d8, knight g7, then f5. This kind of idea. White bishop on c4, or in general a light squared bishop in this position is always a hard to assess piece. It doesn't look particularly great, but quite often it will still be effective in the long run. One idea for him is here a5, b4, move the bishop back, then maybe c4. Or a5, b4, b5 directly. Well, that gives me c5, probably not. Yeah, we'll see what he's doing. Complicated position. It's something that, yeah, he was going for that. It's a structure that somewhat resembles Nimzo and Bogo Indian structures with the dark squared bishop traded. The only thing, that was to be expected. I'm going to go for that f5 idea. I wonder if knight h5 is feasible. Is that maybe this is a little bit more. Have to go back. Maybe knight h5 is a little bit more irritating in a way. It has knight f4 in some cases. Yeah, that is making some sense. Preparing c4, c5, but it's not so easy to play. If I go knight h5 here, I will do that anyway, so no use in spending time here. I need to prepare f5 in this position. What I wonder is, if I go f5, ef, gf. He might be able to go f4 as my queen is unprotected. No, it's not doing that at all. Interesting. So is he going for some knight g5? No, he's not. Ef gf knight d4 is an idea for sure. So knight f4 is also in. That knight d4 idea looks annoying. Is there any way to prepare that somehow? f5, ef gf, knight d4. Can't really move the queen here. A funny idea is queen d8, b8, a7. This is an old Rubinstein idea. He has played that in a game. I don't remember his opponent. One of Rubinstein's classic maneuvers. But I don't think it's an idea here. Trading queens probably helps white with the c4, c5 ideas. Any possible counterplay that I have on the king side will always involve some kind of danger for white's king, so I'm a bit reluctant to trade queens. So f5, knight d4. I could try f6, queen g7, and then f5. It looks very slow. Yeah, it's slow, but it's not necessarily bad. Knight f4 is of course also in. But after knight f4, I don't really see what my next plan is. He's probably going c4, c5. f6, c4, queen g7, c5. I move the queen from e7, the c5 move gets easier for him to play. No, okay. I want to say another idea is f5 takes, rook takes, but that really doesn't seem right. Still knight d4. I'm not sure what to do. c4, c5 is also coming quickly. I have absolutely no options on the queen side. Absolutely no. Yeah. Maybe still f5. I mean, the knight comes to d4, but I feel I need some kind of counterplay there on the f file. If I'm just sitting there, it doesn't look good. Okay, f5, ef. Let's check once. Rook takes, knight d4, rook f6, and then a possible knight e6. There's knight to f8. And I can take and play knight g7. and win that pawn. Probably works, yeah. Probably. Okay, let's do it. Not with not super happy with it, but I completely overlooked that there's going to be a fork here. G4. I absolutely didn't think about G4. Okay, I can sacrifice on F3, queen takes, rook F8, queen moves, knight F4. Yeah, that wasn't planned, but it's actually quite a decent compensation. It looks okay. Not sure if it is enough, but it seems playable. I really didn't think about about G4. only late in this longer think. I cannot go EF, rook takes G4, rook F3, queen F3, knight F4 immediately because of queen F4. Oh, okay, E takes F. If I play G takes, knight D4, I wonder how bad that really is. Okay, anyway, I'm going to go for that. I really think that G4 takes rook F8 should be enough compensation. The knight on F4 is so strong. I mean, maybe a computer will like White's position, but it is definitely not easy at all to play for a human player. Knight D4, as mentioned, I go rook F6 and knight E6, then knight to F8. Trying to trade off the knight. Maybe F4 is a move then. F4. Maybe. That's probably not convincing. We'll see. I mean, maybe he goes for G4 and any knight D4 thoughts are completely, a complete waste of time. But so rook F6. I think F6, huh? Knight E6, knight F8. The move that irritates me is that F4 at the end. Knight takes, rook takes, queen takes. So what about rook F6, knight E6? Yeah, knight G7, he will take C7. That's clear. That F4 move, knight is rook F6, knight E6, knight F8, F4. That's really annoying. I take on F4. Okay, I can take with the pawn. Okay. So I'm going back. One issue is that I'm not even threatening to take the knight. My queen is just wrong on E7. Knight C6 is actually a possible move. I cannot, probably can, maybe I can take. Okay, it's not going to happen. Knight C6 is just probably silly because I can move the queen. So knight E6, knight F8. If he trades, I think I can be reasonably happy. And if he lets me take, then I'm going to, take E6, D6, knight to G7 then, and try to pick up that pawn. That should be okay, I guess. Rook A2. Okay. So maybe knight to g7, huh? No, then f4 is going to be played. I have knight f5 actually. Knight f5. Knight takes, rook takes. Yeah, that should be okay. That should be okay. f4. So knight g7, f4, knight f5, queen. No, that's also okay. Let's do it and not prepare time loss in this 25-10 game. I'm not going to f4 because I thought that it's mostly about knight f5 here. So knight f5, if he moves the queen, I think I can take. I mean, I'm covering e5 with my knight, so maybe he just takes, but can also just move the queen. I'm on d7 where I'm where I'm covering. Maybe he's got bishop a4 at the end. That could be a problem actually. Some kind of bishop a4 undermining my knight, and then he goes f4. But the f4 move is really only possible because my queen is on the e file. Whenever I move queen to f7 or g7, then he actually has to take on e5. But there might be some issues. I still feel like I'm under pressure here in this position. Queen c1 could be interesting. So knight d4, cd4, just attack the c7 pawn. Yeah, very much. Yep, he went for that. And there still is some f4 in some cases. Knight d4, cd4. I cannot really move the knight. There's too much pressure on e5. And if I move the queen, it's going to play knight e6. Okay, so let's say knight d4, cd4, queen d8, d e5, knight e5. Can even play f4. Nah, it's not good. Not a good position. Yeah, knight f5 probably wasn't good, yeah, due to queen c1. Don't see a good move here. Knight f5 was wrong, probably. Remarkable. Not seeing a good move here, not at all. And he's got f4 in now. This is really, 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 really bad. Plus knight e6 with knight f5. I have given up my protection of the e6 square. Is there any other way to play that? Takes, rook c8. It's even bishop a4. Wow. I think I'm completely outplayed. It looks bad, really bad. I really see no move here. Maybe something like that. I don't know. It's just a very bad position. Knight f5 was really wrong. Maybe I'm in big trouble anyway, but it's Queen c1 was very strong. Yeah, I actually called the move the moment before he played it. So it's not like completely out of this world to find it. I also saw it, just a bit too late. f4 is a very brutal move if he's going for that. I cannot completely believe it, but it might still be his choice. Yeah, I'm not even sure what I play on knight e6. If I go knight f8, he will have f4. Yeah? Maybe I can somehow hold this, but it doesn't look good. He really has played a ton of 25-10 games. Those very fresh accounts here, only you just see a couple of standard. He lost one, and there's only wins here, only wins in 25-10. There are many relatively low rated players, and lots of aborted. That's a bit strange. Okay, bishop a4. Yeah, that move was also, of course, in the mix. Okay, knight f8, and he's going f4. At least that's what I believe. Knight d4, c d4. Yeah, f4 is working. There are always pins working on the e file. If I take on d4, c4, c7 hangs and e5 hangs indirectly. Yeah, and again, knight f8, there's f4, yeah. And knight f8 is not really great, great to begin with. Move the queen to finally attack the knight. Queen f7 maybe. This is a slight drawback of the bishop move. It is getting out of that b3 f7 diagonal. Yeah, maybe do that. I don't really... As I mentioned a couple of times, I don't see anything good anyway. Maybe this is playable somehow. Knight e6, knight f8. Yeah, it's very strong play. Yeah, maybe he can still go knight e6, or one of the... probably not. Yeah, one idea was that f4 now can be answered by knight d4, cd4, rook f4. So I had some idea with the queen move. So he's going back. That's actually good news. He's going back. He still has knight g5 e6 up his sleeve. The queen is very annoying on c1 still, like h6. He might even have some g4 business on a knight move, then queen h6. Yeah, I wonder if he's threatening knight g5 followed by f4. That's really possible. Maybe just back to g7 here in this. No, then knight g5, queen e7, again f4. I'd really like to prevent knight g5 if possible, but I don't see how. Knight g7, knight g5, queen e7, f4. Okay, can I get to the knight from d7? Maybe to f8. Again, he's going knight g5, queen g7, and f4, very probably. Knight g5 is not very nice to face. Let's say rook g8, knight g5. Again, I always need to go to e7, which is really not very desirable. Knight g7, knight g5. It's always the e-file. Yeah, I wonder, maybe knight f8 is the relatively best option. Yeah, but it looks bad. Knight g5, knight g7, f4. It's just no good. And I also don't see how I can prevent f4. I mean, really, absolutely, I don't see a way to prevent it. He played that really well. Okay, I'm going here. I don't see a playable move. Maybe queen h6 is even better, but knight g5 is good. Knight g5, queen e7, and f4. Looks bad. I was briefly thinking about something like f4, rook a to f8, bishop d7, rook takes f4. But he has knight e6 probably. Yeah, very likely, amongst other things. But f4 really is the move now. If he's not doing that, I think I'm not in not that bad shape. F4, maybe it's knight h5 a move then. Knight h5, bishop d7, rook takes f4. Wacky tactics. Double attacking knight and bishop. Is this a defense? F4, knight h5, bishop d7, rook f4, knight e6, yeah, queen d7, knight f4, knight f4. Yeah. If I get that, I probably have to be happy with it. Not that it is great, but probably. Yeah, I don't see anything else than f4 for him. Knight h5. Yeah, I have to do that. Yeah, if he goes f4, I don't see. I don't see some other option. Rook f8 maybe. Rook f8, bishop d7, rook f4. That other way. Well, knight and bishop are hanging. Knight e6, queen d7. Yeah, knight f8, rook f8, rook f1. Also pretty much in exchange for not much. Yeah, I don't see a drawback to f4. I really don't. Looks very powerful. Rook f8, yeah. Rook f8, bishop d7, rook f4, knight e6. Queen d7, knight f8, rook f1. Yeah, this is no compensation really. Knight h5, bishop d7, rook f4, knight e6, queen d7, knight f4, knight f4. At least I have some powerful looking knight on f4. It looks good, but I don't believe it's doing that much. Yeah, and the way he played it, I mean, he played very, very, very strong chess, so probably not going to let it slip. Yeah, but I didn't see anything here. I mean, he's threatening to take d7, take e5, and end of game. Yeah, so look f4, knight e6. Yeah, so I saw most of his moves, but I was really not able to find something good against it or against them. Yeah, it's a double attack, so he probably has to go knight e6, but it is also completely sufficient. Yeah, maybe I can somehow fight with this close position. Knight on f4 is not so bad, but I believe that. Yeah, I'm talking about knight e6, queen d7, knight f4, knight f4. That this knight might still be expelled with the g-pawn move. And then the f-file will be dangerous. Yeah, he's very diligent here. Is he really out for anything better than knight e6? Yeah, maybe there is something better. I'm not ruling this out. It's a bit of a weird thing, actually. I mean, is there really something else than knight e6? No. Weird. Okay, so I'm grabbing here. If he takes long now to take on f4, no, he's not doing that. g4. Okay, that is a strong move. Yeah, very strong. Knight g3, knight f4, ef, rook e7. Probably no move. Is there something that I can try? Getting somewhere against his king. Yeah. Knight moves loose, and I really don't see what I can do. Knight g3, knight f4, knight e2. There's knight e2. All working nicely together. And knight g3, rook g2 will probably win as well. Okay. So I have to
Black resigns.
resign that. Yeah, that was very well played. That's either a very strong player or I have to mention this possibility, or an engine. It looks like a very good game by white. So let's have a look there. C3, it's all very normal. Now he went bishop e3. As I said, I usually let people take, so this is also definitely not the mistake or anything. This is still alright. d6, a4. Prepared this bishop e6 move. And now d4, yeah, playing in the center. So bishop g4, h3. Here, now he went d5. Okay, I went for this. Queen, why actually queen takes? Why not knight takes? Isn't that the more natural move? Anyway, queen takes, I went back. a5 is normal, knight d7, b4, g3, queen e3. Yeah, that looks normal. Rook a8. Most moves were very natural. Should be 3, knight h5. Knight f3. This is a strong move. Looking to prevent that f5 push, and ultimately that proved to be a problem. Knight f3. Yeah, and probably I cannot play this. So yeah, Stockfish is giving g4. That's by the way, the first move, g4, is the first move that Stockfish suggests differently from what he played. The other moves were 100% correlation, but it doesn't really mean that he's cheating. I'm just saying. I think I called most of the moves. Knight f3, however, is very, yeah. I'm not sure if that move would occur to me. That idea with operating with knight d4 against f5. Yeah. So yeah, g4 is what the engine is giving here. After which I wanted to go for the computer. Actually, Stockfish wants to go here, here, and gives white one pawn. Yeah, I mean, this is not at all easy. The knight is very strong on f4, and the bishop is not doing that much. It was a little bit born out of necessity, that that idea, but I'm not sure that it is bad. Okay, knight d4. I went back. Rook a2. That's a cool move. Knight e6 already was interesting for sure. There's also g3, a couple of interesting moves. I went back, played there. Yeah, knight f5. This seems to be wrong. I mean, white of course is better, but I'm not really sure how much. And here I couldn't really find a good move. This was kind of, I don't know what to do. But I couldn't really find a move. I was really thinking he's threatening f4 already. The engine Stockfish would just suggest this. I would have thought that f4 is basically is good. Yeah, queen. Yeah, it is good. Now the valuation is climbing and climbing. Yeah, I mean, I'm falling apart here in the center. Yeah, when I was going for this, I was seeing, of course, that I have some square weaknesses, but I thought I can cover them and maybe do something on the f file, but it never materialized. Bishop a3. Yeah, probably right. I mean, the bishop is not doing that much here, and now he just went back. Yeah, blocking the f file or the f pawn, but still, I mean, I don't have a move. This is not helping, but I didn't see a move. He's going for knight g5 and f4. The Stockfish gives b5. I briefly thought about the move, but I thought that even the simple capture would be good. I mean, this looks like rubbish. Maybe it's better than the game. Yeah, very likely it's better than the game. Yeah, this is probably then the better defense, relatively speaking. A line that I also mentioned. Knight e6 takes, knight f8, rook f8, rook f1. But white is winning here. He's just too active. That knight is not doing anything. He can even go here and take away those squares. Okay, I tried that. And of course f4, after which I can resign with a clear conscience. That was very strong game by white. Unfortunately, as we don't have any information about him, other than that he why there were many aborted games on the first move. I don't know why, actually. Again, cool defender. He's always aborting against cool defender. Maybe they're friends or something. It happens. Yeah, there's always a shadow of doubt on those games if you play someone who's untitled on the ICC and has a new account. But he played that in a very strong way. I mean, in doubt. I'm not sure about the English expression there, but yeah, innocent until proven guilty or something like that. Very strong game by Morziko. Okay, well, thanks for watching.